So we need to boot
The
Randy
following
out of the room.
podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
And you can find us on Facebook, Apple Podcasts, all over the place. We are wherever you find your regular podcast. We're going to jump back into our Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. Jason will kick us off. Go for it, Jason.
Yeah, I'll kick us off. Kick us off back into the world of Eredin, the Mega City campaign that we are currently going through. And I want to get us back into the action, so let's get started with introductions. Chris, you can start us off as usual.
Hey, this is Chris. I'm playing Ophidian, the Wanty rogue, who's a person of many faces, but you've only seen two so far, so I guess not so many right now.
A couple faces.
Faces. Two-faced.
Glad to have you at the intro, Chris.
Speaking of two-faced, I'm Eli. I'm playing Raze, known in his group, the Fifth Form, as Tower. He is a tiefling bard.
Oh, that'd be me next. I'm looking at Jason like, why aren't you going, dude? I'm Joe. I am playing Rolix, the Warforged Artificer, whose Steel Defender dog still has his ear because, well, he's been stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
And I am Randy, and I play a Tabaxi by the name of Follower of Paths Less Taken. He is a fighter. I think I said that already. Anyway, I have to go put eye drops in my wife's eyes real fast, so I'll be
Okay, well, while Randy does that, maybe Chris can give us the recap of what happened last game.
Since he just took a bite of something.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Chris is chewing that. I wanted to mention that Eli really threw us under the bus with, I feel like he threw us under the bus when his contact at the Fifth Form there said, can your companions be trusted? And he said, they can be trusted, but bless their hearts, they're not that bright.
Luckily, the characters never heard that.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was beautiful.
It was just the players.
Yeah,
That's why I said two-faced. When it comes to my people, I need to make myself look as good as possible.
And that's what made me think of it again. All right, you ready, Chris?
Yeah.
There he
Sure.
is.
So as the PCs were in the Stew and Pearl gathering intel, my character, Ophidian, playing as Shukata Istini, the journalist for the Eredin Gazette, was overhearing some conversation between Sumar, I don't remember her last name, Sumar Lucina, and somebody from the Bronze Knuckles, called Devdin Trissan, talking about trying to get Shia, I can't remember. Steeled in, yeah. I wanted to say Shia LaBeouf sometimes every time I hear that name, even though it's kind of similar, to get her out into the quarantine zone to do her job that she was supposed to do a while ago with the Dresden Hooks. We kind of waylaid that plan. Bad luck for them. Or mea culpa, as we say in the Latin, for my bad. So I overheard some of that, and then Raze was getting some information from his second on what was going on about trying to, pretty much the same thing about trying to get her in there, the quarantine zone, to get some intel for the Windermere family, what they're doing with the whole power station and all that craziness. And it turns out there's a bunch of freaky underdark creatures that are bringing in who knows what. We're not sure yet. That's pretty much where we're at. We're basically we're taking over the Dresden Hooks job of infiltrating this person into the quarantine zone.
Absolutely.
We will be taking that job. We'll see how that goes.
Absolutely. And again, you guys were also kind of looking maybe get into the quarantine zone in general in the first place before you got into the massive train heist, explosion, robbery, kidnapping thing. But we find ourselves in the back safe room of the Stew and Pearl, which was surprisingly not as comfortable as you guys maybe have thought it was. A lot of splinters, some logs for pillows, food a little stale apparently now, as we all rolled absolutely horribly to see how comfortable we would get. Shyla has gone over, her original aspiration for getting things and gone over the details of getting into and how she can. She has a device that will rip through the magical quarantine barrier and allow you guys to have access inside. Through Shikate's questioning, she also revealed, that she had seen creatures bringing massive carts and wagons and barrels into the Wintermuir's power station, the place that supplies power to the entire city, to their tramways, to the magnificent airships that they're developing. And it was at this time they started bringing things in that they were scrapping for power. They had parts of the city that just could not get, electricity or things like that. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these creatures came and started delivering what appears to be buckets and buckets of power into this system. We left off with the group making a roll to see if they could determine what these creatures could be. And it was Rolex and Rays who had the best inclination. Rolex, you remember from some of your, again, just random millings about through the city here, you went into a few bookstores and libraries and you've read over things about creatures, nature, things like that. And again, your own personally, I forget exactly what you said about as far as your nature check, but you've had enough experience wandering through the city and learning as much as you can about the city, your past and all this stuff here, to know that there used to be a part of this, the Empire of Eredin, that included an underground city. It included one that was ruled by drow elven individuals. And several centuries ago, that city stopped being a part of the empire. There was a war that broke out, and they haven't been seen since. Rays, you have heard through your various gang affiliates and contacts that there have been more and more activity in the sewer systems, creatures that have been wandering through, and sometimes the homeless population which resides in these areas go missing, with just tales from some of the survivors or some of the people who got away of large, lanky creatures coming in and stealing them and, again, doing things. There is, again, the idea that they are a type of elven creature, possibly drow related. But your group and the people who live in the sewers and who operate down there on a very, very kind of high alert level, they call them the Soul Enclave.
Soul Enclave.
Yes. So that is what you guys would collectively know in your best efforts to guess what these creatures are and who they might be affiliated with.
All right.
If what you're describing is indeed true, Shyla, these creatures are known as the Soul Enclave. They're quite rare, at least in the city proper. They can be dangerous if provoked. They tend to stay away from groups, but if one gets separated from its own group, master, wherever it intends to be, it can cause trouble.
Shayla looks down at the map of the city and she goes, I've never heard of such a group here prior, but I believe you, and I definitely believe the power of your organization. So if the Wintermere family is indeed using these type of creatures here, then we need to prove this. We need to get answers. We need to get evidence. We need to expose them. Yes. She looks at all of you.
Well, the question is the Wintermere family actually running the show, or is it the Soul Enclave running the show?
She looks at you and she goes, I cannot say for certain. I have seen Lord Phineas Wintermere. He seems to be still in control of his empire, of his operations, of his family. I cannot say for certain, but all we need to do is tie them together. I believe that the people of the city and the other families will have enough reason and cause to strip them of power or remove them from power or something. Something needs to happen. Do you not agree? And she's looking at you, Shikate.
People aren't going to do anything if the lights are still on and they're still getting their bread and circuses. Nothing's going to change.
Then what do you propose? We just let them continue?
No, but I mean, you don't expect the people to do something about it. They don't do anything now. They complain a lot. That's about it.
They complain because they are powerless right now. There's nothing they can do. I mean, look at the harbor. The harbor is going to burn in the next day.
Yeah, we'll see what they do about that. Probably nothing.
Shyla,
Till they start starving.
from my understanding, you have been given a special privilege in life that limits your scope. And I need you to understand one very important thing about change. Those in control will always be outnumbered by their subjects. The people aren't powerless. They've just been made to believe that they are. That is what my group wishes to work against.
And she looks over at you and she goes, and do not be presumptuous of me and where I'm from. Yes, I know that recently my father and I have come into wealth, into power and things, but we started off in District 12 just like many, many families. I was one of those people. I've been there. I've lived it. I have friends there still. So that's why I came up with this plan to get away from them, to start some sort of revolution or some sort of way, meaning to empower the people to stand up against this, to even galvanize the weaker families into action. And maybe it's the wrong move. Maybe she looks at you, Shikati, maybe you're right. But like I told your friends over here, she points to Les and to Rolex, if there are more people like this that are willing to jump into the fire and help those in need, well, shouldn't that matter? Isn't that why we should try to do this?
I did
can
not
dip the
jump
skills
into
enough.
a fire.
She looks at you, Rolex, and she kind of gives a little smirk, and she kind of like smiles at you. She goes, I like him so much now. He's so delightful.
I'll explain later, buddy.
Okay.
We're not arguing against your actions, Shyla. Not at all. We just want to clarify the reality of the situation.
Very well aware of it here, but we have an opportunity, do we not?
Of course. Now, what evidence is it that you are trying to discover?
We need to get whatever they're delivering. So we need to find out what those creatures are taking from quarantine, follow them back, and then, again, get that evidence out.
And where does that evidence go?
It goes to the power station. So it follows so again, she kind of lays it out on the map here for you guys. There is the quarantine zones, and these are zones where people cannot get in or out. They are magically sealed inside. And underneath the sewer systems, they have been creating, these creatures have started appearing and delivering casks, carts, barrels of different things, and basically hucking them into the furnaces and hucking them into the generators and things, and causing it to cause more power and do different things. She's never seen it. She's never actually been to the heart of the electrical plant and how it generates things, but she knows that they're bringing something from these zones because it happened at the same time. The minute those quarantine zones went up, they started getting deliveries the next day of barrels of different things for power, and they're coming from the direction underground of where quarantine zone of District 12 and 15 are.
And I have a question regarding the sewers. Do they reach like everywhere under the city, and is that common knowledge where the sewers are like are there secrets that people don't talk about, that kind of thing?
So again, most people don't go into there, and again, that's because they used to be not the sewers. They used to be a network highway for the Drow kingdom that resided and was a part of the Eridan Empire. Since then, it got shut off, and only key workers have access to it to do maintenance on it and make sure things are going. But most people don't go down there unless they have to, or unless they're that desperate and they can find a way in, like some of the homeless population that is from the city who makes their way down there. And again, Reyes would have a better idea of that, even though Reyes might have never been there in his past or been down there frequently. He would know that there are ways to get in there, but it is not easy to get in.
Okay.
Who controls the Obsidian Guard?
It's supposed to be the city guard, but Shikati, you know for a fact that the Wintermeres control them.
But they're mechanical creatures, right?
Yes, they're mechanical creatures.
Kind of like Rolex.
They're full constructs.
They are full constructs. They are not like Rolex. They do not have a soul or a ability to make decisions on their own.
All
we
Rolexes
have-
go to heaven.
There you go.
we have to get past the Obsidian Guard, right? These that are
Yes.
they're in a quarantine zone. Is there a way to disable them? Mass disable?
She looks at you and she goes, I have a few things that can potentially disable one or two of them, but it's very hard to make and disable those things. She puts them on the table. They're like little spiders that you can throw and affix to, and it pierces into a construct and it will shut them down. She only has two of them. So you'd have to use them wisely if you're going to try to use them. But that's all she has the ability to. That's all she had the ability to manufacture.
All right. So my question still stands. We get whatever evidence we find, and where does that? Where do we take that evidence to? Where do we take that to?
Probably your news friend.
She looks at you and she goes, I had workings and dealings with the Pashaw family. They were going to help us get it out there and unite some of the other families in the courts against the Wintermere family and again remove them from power. If we can prove this, I believe that it will start an uprising against the controlling family. If they find out that they are doing nefarious things with these creatures underground, I mean, it is something that can cause revolution.
Right, but you're just changing one master for another. If you want another family to take over, if you really want the people to have power, then the family's got to go.
Then what do you propose?
Yes, I
I'm
am
not proposing
confused.
anything. I'm just speaking my mind.
If you have a family with all of the power and you don't like that, won't there just be another family with all of the power?
That's what I said.
Potentially. But is any other family right now worse than this one?
I don't know all of them. The Smiths on 4th Street are nice people.
Then maybe we can put them into power, Rolex.
We should.
It's a delicate situation. Politics can get rather
And that's-
nasty.
And that's why I came here to your organization, Raise. I came here because your organization seems to know how to do things. So that's why we're here now.
It's unfortunate, Rolex, that the family doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
That would be a good way to make sure the power is at least somewhat decent, at minimal.
I
Okay.
propose that after gathering the evidence, instead of submitting it to the Bashars or any other of the noble factions, we keep it under wraps just for a little while we figure out the proper way to go about it to prevent the passing of the whip.
As Ray says this, what do you all do? Do you guys agree with him, or are you guys?
I think the truth should be free for everyone. Yeah, everyone should know what's going on. I mean, everyone.
Everyone should know. The people should know what's going on.
I don't have a whip.
And I keep staring at my thing, waiting for a message. So yeah, that's what I'm just. Ophidian is technically, just trying to waste time. To
You're
get
just
on
sitting there,
get it
refresh.
Yeah.
Refresh.
It's a big city. It'll happen. It'll happen. It's roughly 1 a.m. right now, just so you guys are aware.
Okay. Well, there will certainly be a time and place for the people to know. So, how about we compromise? We take some evidence at our discretion as a group, hand it to the 5th form, take another bundle of evidence, and pass that on to the people.
She looks at all of you. Do you all agree with Ray's plan, or do you guys have? And again, plans can change, obviously, but I just want to know for right now, what is everyone doing?
The opportunity we have has the chance to create a lot of upheaval, a lot of chaos, a lot of panic.
Seems
This
like a
is
decent
something-
compromise for now.
This is something we should take slowly.
I am confused why some secrets everyone needs to know, but other secrets need to be secret. How do you tell the difference?
It takes a long time to understand what information needs to be given when, Rolex.
If we have to tell everyone the secret, shouldn't we go to the street and tell everyone how many times the sun sets so they can get in your club?
No,
Now you're talking.
no, Rolex. That would be very dangerous.
But the club seems friendly.
To those that want the freedom of the city. If we just go around telling everyone, then our enemies would know how to find us.
So
Would know.
the secrets we want to expose give more freedom?
The world that we make after doing this happens, then we won't need codes for bars and other places that we keep ourselves hidden.
I
mean,
would like
honesty
to
is the
try
best
to do
policy.
the right thing if you help me understand right.
The reason we stay in the shadows, Rolex, out of sight, away from the eyes of the families in power, is because they don't want the people to be free. If we give them any information about us, how we work, who we are, where we are, they will do everything to destroy us.
Everything will stay the same and probably get worse. More likely to get worse.
But aren't we talking about destroying them?
Not necessarily.
But if
Ultimately,
it happens,
we just want
that's
them.
okay.
Ultimately, we just want for them to no longer be in control of everyone else. The family can still exist, can still live peacefully, enjoy their time on this plane of existence. What we want to end is their oppression.
And they will just change their mind and be nice?
Probably not.
It'll take some convincing, some hard steel convincing.
I would
Okay.
like to convince them.
Okay. All right. So with that, Shyla looks over at you, Rays. She goes, well, currently I'm in the organization's grasp. So whatever you decide to do, I will follow. But we must strike while the iron is hot.
Of course. I do have a question for you, though, Shyla, regarding these instruments, gesturing to the spiders, of course.
Yes.
Are these a recent development?
When I should say this here, when you were thrown into the care of the Wintermere family and they found out that you were a viable asset to them, well, let's just say your freedoms kind of went out the window. And there were quite a few of these large constructs that kept their eyes on me for a number of times. I ended up having to make specific ways of getting around them. But no, they're not widely known. These are something that I created.
After them being described, Rolex is keeping a very wary eye and keeping Dog back as well.
Yeah. Yeah. She looks at you, Rolex, as she notices you're kind of like eyeballing. She goes, don't worry, Rolex. I think that you would be fine. Your cat, on the other hand, you might want to keep him away from these things. And she kind of grabs them and she puts them back into her bag. As your steel defender is more like a regular construct versus you, which is that kind of stuff. So
I don't want to obtain any chances with this.
Understand. And it'd be only temporary, Rolex. So once the spiders are peeled off, the construct regains functionality.
Another slow nod.
Although I will say this, if they're constructs with one of the new power cores, they might be able to override the spider's influence.
Well, these gadgets could be quite useful.
Mm-hmm.
If, for whatever reason, you feel like sharing these designs?
The designs, well, if you guys could help me get, again, the information and get free of the Wintermere's grasp myself and my father, which is what I'm hoping that this will also include as far as removing the Wintermere's from power, then I will be glad to share my designs with you.
Wonderful.
Okay. Anything else anyone wants to do? It's getting late now, and there are, like I said, uncomfortable cots that you guys can sleep on for the night, if you guys would like to do so. Or is there anything else you guys would like to do? I know Shikate is waiting for the medallions to go off, like just anxiously looking at them, feeling them in his pocket, just like repeatedly. But is there anything else you guys would like to do before we move on?
These sightings of these soul enclave that you guys are talking about, the reports you're getting, are they focused in like a general area more than anywhere else? That might be the best place to go look.
Aside from them being in the quarantine zones, I presume?
If it's in the sewers that we could have access to, then we could go there and find out where we need what we need to find out and bring back.
Well, I will concede less. I'm quite tired. We've had a long day. At this point, it's getting hard to keep track of everything.
Okay, here's your pillows back. I'm going to go lay down.
All right. So, is there anything else anyone wants to do before we go to our long rest for the night?
Ray's is going to see if he can get another audience with the second, assuming that they're still there, so he can tell them about this gadget, this device that Shyla has.
Sure, absolutely.
And if it changes anything about what he gave me.
Okay. Chikate, as you're getting ready to, bunk down, you do feel the medallion that is from Annette Divya go off. So that one you do feel, the other one, not yet.
Okay. I will retrieve my message.
Okay. So, the way the medallion works and stuff like that, you kind of have to go and get out of sight for people here. Again, you pay for the highest security possible.
Right.
So you find a little corner over there, and you hear Annette come back over the medallion. You hear her respond back to you. Train derailment already known. Dresden Hooks implicated by City Guard. The docks are in danger.
That's it.
That's what you hear back for her from that. It's a limited message. It's a limited message coming back.
140 characters, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has to be very concise with things. But your message did get through, and you know Annette well enough that she's probably going to be somewhere close to the docks tonight to try to see what's going on.
I will have to reply back and let her know what's going on, just to make sure she doesn't get herself in too much trouble.
Okay.
And then I'll let her, because the relationship I want to try to have with her is kind of like I give her all the information and she does with it whatever she wants. Whether she holds stuff back or publicizes it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Ophidian technically does not care, right? He doesn't care. He's just all about the game of espionage and creative.
Yeah. And from what you gave her, she came back as far as, again, piecing things together. The person that was the Dresden Hook that was captured by the guards, they now know that it was one of them that was involved with it here. They know for a fact that there was that was a key part of it. So the stuff that you gave her, she kind of already knew, and she's trying to find out some more about what's going on. So if you want to give her more information based on what you guys have just talked about, you can do that, and that will be definitely something that she doesn't know.
Yeah, I'll give her information that the docks are going to get burnt. It's a bad place to be. I'm not going to give her anything on Shyla yet because I want to hear back from my other group. Because that could get messy if I give her that kind of information. So
Gotcha.
basically, just tell like the docks are going to get burnt down and don't be there kind of thing. Unless you just wanna
Gotcha.
get some
Okay.
footage.
Okay. All right. All right. Meshes will be gone. Okay. All right. Rolex, Les, anything that you guys want to do?
Nothing special for me. No,
Wait,
Okay.
were we sleeping here or no?
just the resting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't there another place in this same building, the Rising Flame Tavern Restaurant?
Yep, there was that place. That is where the potential Iron Ghosts people of the Timeless Fangs were at. But I mean, there are a couple of different places within this 14-story building that you could sleep at if you didn't want to sleep here.
Yeah, I'd really go find some place more comfortable, and that could change into a different. I don't want to be going into the District 12 of Shukati, actually.
Okay, all right. Are you looking for like the highest of high class? 'Cause, I mean, you're in the District 12, which is not very like super hoity-toity, but there are definitely places that you could probably find in this building that are a little more comfortable than the.
I guess high class or District 12, sure.
Okay, all right. Make me an investigation check as you try to find you, because again, you're not familiar with this area. You don't slum
Yeah.
around in this area a lot, so.
No, I don't.
You'll end up in the courtyard instead of the
Oh.
Red Roof Inn.
Everything's possible. Can't find anything in this place.
So you are utterly disgusted at some of the places. You go down like the entire building, all 14 levels, and each level there's like a different place that you could potentially bunk at here. And every time you go in there, it's cheap. And like they have like a cot, or they have like a hammock, or they don't have their own private shower or bathroom. You're just utterly disgusted at this particular thing. You just feel so uncomfortable in it. The nicest place that you do find in the building is on the second floor. You find the Red Lion Tavern, which is it's not bad. It's definitely the cleanest of the establishments, and it's about 10 gold to stay the night. It actually has its own room. You still again no private washroom, no private bathroom or things like that here. But the room itself seems to be not like super box small. It has a decent looking bed that's not a hammock or not a cot. It actually has like what seems to be like a mattress in there, and it has probably the least amount of stains out of all the other places you've been to.
All right, that works out.
Okay, so 10, mark off 10 gold, and you have that place there. Rolex and Les, are you guys staying in the safe house room of the Stew and Pearl?
Yeah, Rolex will, because comfort is not important.
Right.
Les will make do with there as well.
And then Ray's, I'm assuming that you're just going to stay there.
If I don't have to spend money, I'm not going to.
Absolutely. Okay. And you do get a audience with the second. He says it's very interesting, but this opportunity is too large to pass up for something like that.
Very well. I'll see if I can acquire these blueprints sooner rather than later.
He gives you a little bit of a nod, and then there you go. Okay. It is roughly around 2 a.m. when you guys finally bunk down and go to sleep for the night. You guys can mark off your long rests. You get your health points back. You get your spells back. You recover all of your abilities and all that kind of fun stuff. You guys sleep until around 9 a.m. here. The sun creeps up again. It's tough to see the sunrise in this city here. Typically, most people don't see the sunrise until 11 or 12 in the afternoon, when it's actually cresting so high above the buildings that you can actually see down into the light. As you guys rouse, Shukate, as you come out of the Red Lion, out of your room,
I'm gonna change into just my regular Ophidian.
Absolutely.
wardrobe.
Yeah. As you come out, the young man behind the counter is like he's looking out, and there's a few people who are in there eating, and they're all looking out through the window, and you're in the second story, so they're looking down into there, and there's quite a few people that you notice that are looking out into the street right now.
What do I see?
Okay, so as you make your way over, you see dozens and dozens of battalions of Winter's Guards out there. You see there are tons of them, and you see walking around, and this is somebody that you do know if you would know this person. You see Garthok. He is the head of the Wintermere's security detail. He's in charge of everything military planning with them. And he is wandering around the street. He has a bright blue emblazoned, looks to be almost diamond-plated chest plate as he's walking with some of his people. And you can see these battalions starting to move and starting to make their way down and out. And you estimate that they're heading towards the harbor. they are amassing in this area, and they are heading towards the harbor right now.
All right.
So you kind of get the idea that, it's go time. The Wintermeres are making their move against the harbor.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
How do I know Garthok, by the way, or he just has a rep?
He has a rep, and again, because you are in higher society circles and you have been around, you would know him because he is somebody that, like in your legal briefings with Jean Dal Pashar's people, they would say this is a person of interest that you need to again show the deepest respect to when you're interacting with them at parties or events or galas and things like that. So you would know him.
All right.
Okay.
Make a list to start a duel with him later.
All right. So. The rest of you wake up. You guys are higher above in the 14th floor. You make your way out into the main tavern, and then Raise. You also hear from one of the guy who was watching the door. He perks up and he goes, "It's starting. Be careful on the streets, my friend." And then he kind of goes back and he puts his head back down and goes back into the state that he was in. Raise, as you hear that, there's a window looking outside, and as you look down, it's much harder to see because you're 14 stores up, but you do see there's an incredible amount of people in like battalion style, marching forms and formations, and you can see them moving out, and you can see off in the distance, a glimpse of the ocean. It's not too far away from the district that you're in right now, and you estimate that the Wintermeres have amassed their forces and they're going to start moving on the harbor today.
Raise is going to go back into the back room, the secret room.
Yeah.
And just kind of like on the table, he's going to lay down a small sheet of paper and in infernal, write a prayer, a blessing of protection, spill a little blood on it, and then set the thing on fire.
Okay.
This is my flavoring of an infernal ritual, almost like a contract to protect Cormont.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you do that. Okay. I like it. We'll see how that works.
Raise, what was that?
A desperate man's plea. Let's go.
All right. Finishing putting my plate on.
Okay.
I'll try to help him.
Yeah. It's easy enough. You guys do it here. All right. So the rest of you, we can say you all, unless there's anything else you guys want to do, we'll say you all meet down on the first level, and that's where we're going to be. Because obviously you guys have to get to the first level to get out of the building. Unless you guys want to try to get out of the building a different way, it's up to you guys. But what do you guys want to do?
I believe I can fly.
Before we leave, I want to eat breakfast.
I'll catch you all.
Meal of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Again,
just a simple breakfast. How much is that going to run me?
5 gold.
Jesus fuck.
Expensive town.
For a simple.
Like I said, money's going to play a part in this campaign here. It is a town where money is important. So yes.
How much they paying us for this gig?
Les will also get a plate.
Okay, yeah, 5 gold to you. Rolex, are you going to get a plate even though you don't need to eat?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
That inflation must be terrible.
Why don't you buy me a plate, Rolex?
Sure, if you're there. Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, money's not all that important. So 5, you said?
5 gold, yeah. 5
all
gold.
right.
Okay. All right. So as you guys finish your food and you guys are making your way out into the city, yes?
Of course.
All right.
Wait.
Well,
where are we supposed to meet?
I assume Shyla had the. I'm going to go this way. This is the best way to get in.
Yeah, Shyla last night told you where the arcane magic, where she can feel it, she can break the barrier, and she is going to lead you guys to there. So she was with you during this time here. She's not going to go inside the quarantine zone with you because again, that's why she had muscle to go in there and get the stuff. She's going to wait for you with the 5th form. That way, everything can be secure and you guys know where she's at, unless you wanted her to go with you. If you specifically wanted her to go with you, Tower, you can take her because that's something that you are, as a agent of your organization, can make that call
on.
She has interesting devices. Yes,
I'm going to ask her just up front. Can you take care of yourself?
She
Can
looks
you
at
hold your own in a fight?
She's like, I can.
She
I can
blinded
def-
us, yes.
Conti is just. You can
She-
see.
It's Ophidia
She
now.
kicked your ass.
Yeah, you can still see like some of the bloodshot in Ophidia's eyes, just there. Like even a good rest didn't fix this all the way.
And she got away from me, and I'm not exactly slow.
She goes, I can take care of myself. Yes.
She's quite slippery, yes.
All right. In that case, come with us.
Okay.
You are
All right.
my direct charge.
She looks at you and she goes, "Of course, you all have seemed to prove yourselves in combat. So, I'm very, I feel very comfortable working with you both." Okay, as you guys make your way out to the street, everyone should make me a perception check real quick, please.
As
We are
much as
very
I hate
pleased to
you
have your
guys,
company.
you did manage to take out my entire guard. Perception, you said?
Yes, perception check, please.
All right.
Old like crap.
Mine wasn't so great.
Okay, Raise with the 23. We'll take Tyus with the 23.
Hey.
So, Raise, as you come out, again, you're automatically looking over the entire area here. There are several Wintermere guards that are moving their way down through the city. You see battalions and battalion groups moving their way in. And then there is, off in the distance, across the street, you see that the Garthok, the man that Ophidian knows. And Ophidian, if you share that information, you can let Raise know who that is. If Raise is like, hey, who the heck is that guy? You see him walking out, and you can see him, and Raise, you can overhear him because, again, you it's across the street. The street is pretty quiet except for the marching of people. You overhear him going, he goes, "All right, I want the entire area burnt to the ground. Make sure that we leave an example for these Dresden hooks and any other ilk that would try to do something as foolish as steal from the Wintermere family and attack us." He brings out a garment, and Ophidian, it looks like the garment that the person that was knocked out by you guys, the one that you have in your bag. It is a Dresden hook garment. He goes, "Put this here, mark it down, leave it in a place that is very easily identifiable, and we will let the media know that the Dresden hooks caused an uprising, and we had to put them down hard. This rogue military group here tried to wrestle control away. We'll paint them in a negative light."
Not the mercenary group anyway. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, again, the Dresden hooks, they were seen as as like freedom fighters to a degree. They were
Yes.
they were the dock workers and stuff like that. So they're going to try to put him in a negative light over this. And he goes, and then let's make sure we make an example out of some of them here. Let's make sure you.
real soldier would
He looks at him. He goes. "Tell your men, anyone that is caught wearing a hook, they die by that in a very slow and painful way." He turns, and the two people that are in front of him go. They kind of nod down there, and he goes, "Oh, one last thing." He pulls out again another item. He goes. He flings it to them. They catch it, and they go, "This here was recovered from one of them, one of their weapons. Make sure that is impaled in one of our own. Get a good picture of it here. That way we can, again, get the people on our side for this." And he turns and starts to walk away. You guys wait a little bit, and it takes about maybe 10, 15 minutes for the streets to clear. There's a couple of Winter's Guard that are still left there, and they're just talking and doing some different things. But the street is finally clear as these, you probably estimate, Raise, since you had the highest score here, there was probably about 200 guards going to the harbor.
Raise is he's absolutely livid. Anybody who
Leroy Jenkins.
no, I said livid, not stupid. I am not our party's tank.
Mhm.
That's your job. Yeah,
At least I had chicken.
Mom made chicken.
Yeah.
Raise is furious. Anybody who can see him, who can get a good look at him from under his cloak, will see that his skin looks like it's burning.
Okay, all right. So
like it's on fire.
Yeah, let's rewind it back a little bit then. So as the guards are still moving their way out, is there anything that anybody wanted to do during this time? As you see Raise getting more and more pissed off.
I put my hand on him. Calm your demons, yes.
Les is starting to get pissed off too because of this is not how soldiers act. This is like tyranny to their own people. Well, maybe it's not technically their people, but it's people they're supposed to live alongside. And treating them like this is a vile disrespect to soldier kind, in his opinion.
As after Ophidian says, "Calm your demons," Ray's is going to like turn to like start walking where they need to be going, like flip of the cloak, show off all that he is, and he's very quietly going to say, "Devils do not calm demons; they slay them. Let's go."
Okay, I love it. All right. So as you guys start making your way down there, you again, Raise, as you go to turn here, you do see Shyla. She's holding on to a cog wheel, and she's just kind of like muttering to herself. Sounds like a prayer as well, a prayer of protection to her deity, as she saw a witness of all these soldiers going to, basically just massacre the docks themselves. You guys make your way down the road, and as you make your way down the road, the streets become quiet. Again, there are still people and activity in the buildings you're passing to the left, but to the right, there's that bright green barrier that is just illuminating, and it's so bright that it's tough to kind of see through. It's a little bit translucent, and if you like put your face up to it, you can kind of see through a little bit, but it's very tough to make out anything that's going inside. As you guys continue to push forward, Shyla is she's counting, and she's counting paces on the street. She goes, 4th, 5th. Okay. All right. Here. She looks around and she goes, can you all just give me a minute here? I need to try to break. And this is where we're going to enter in the city.
All right.
60, 59, 58.
She goes, thank you, Lois.
57,
And she pulls out from under her shirt. She pulls her shirt up, and she has wrapped around her stomach. She has this metal band, and she pulls it off, and she goes and she puts it onto the actual barrier itself. And then she grabs onto the cog wheel that she was holding, and she smashes it onto it, and she turns it. And as it does, the cog wheel seems to fuse into it, and the metal itself starts to bow and bend and starts to pierce through that barrier. You can see it fighting it. She's holding on to it, and you can see she's struggling, trying to hold on to it, and she's getting pushed back because the barrier is kind of trying to repel her from going inside. Is there anything that anybody wants to do?
Les is going to charge to go and try to help stabilize it.
Excellent. Les,
31.
make me a strength athletics check, please.
30,
Strength
29,
athletic check?
28.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a strength check, right?
Yeah, strength check, yeah.
26. Hey-o.
Hey!
Good gosh,
Oh,
Randy. What
nice.
dice did you bring to the table tonight, brother?
Yeah. So as she's holding on to it, she can see she's getting pushed back. Les, you just come up behind her and put your paws right on her hands, and you start to push forward. You can feel the force of this energy being pushed back. And as you're counting down, Ophidian and Rays, you see the sidewalk that the arcane barrier is meeting starts to glow with runic inscriptions, and those runic inscriptions start to glow and start to blink and start to fizzle out. And as that happens, the area that steel is being pushed into starts to form a doorway, and the metal starts to go down, and it creates this little tunnel through this barrier. And as it pops all the way down and it meets its way there, you hear her and Les, who are holding up this barrier. She goes, get inside, go now.
12, 11,
This is heavy.
10, 9. Oh, now? Okay.
Gonna quickly shuffle in.
Yeah. Okay. As everyone shuffles in, and again, Les, you and her kind of move your way through. She lets go of the thing, and the metal piece shrinks down and smashes into the ground itself, and the barrier now is back on top of it, covering here. She's you're kind of holding her up a little bit. She's like, She looks back at you, Les. She goes, it worked.
It worked? Wait, what?
This
You
bodes well.
you didn't expect it to work?
She goes, well, I mean, truth be told, I've never tried it on something like this. But the technology was sound. So yes, yeah, of course it worked. She gets up, she dusts herself off. Inside.
I'm glad it worked.
Yeah. Inside, the air smells stale. It feels quiet. you're not used to this in this city. This city is never quiet. Even at night, there are taverns, there are bars, there are people in the streets. Everything is going on. The city never sleeps. Here, you're in the shadow. There's a building right next to you, and there's another building off to the side right here, and they tower up about 12 stories. There's no lights on the windows. There's nobody sitting on their balconies. There's nobody walking back and forth. You look down a long, desolate street. You can see there are abandoned carts. You can see there are barrels with food that have kind of spilled over onto the side of the street. You can see there is a few feral animals like cats and dogs just milling around. And you can hear an unsettling wind of air rush through the buildings, through the alleyways and everything else.
How many city blocks does this barrier take up? Do we know what it was?
Again, Ophidian, you probably would know because John Dal Pashar, he has his team looking into the quarantine. It was something that he sent legal documents over to. It takes up about 6 city blocks.
Okay.
So it is a large swath of space. All right.
Excuse me.
Well,
Shyla, lead the way, yes.
She goes, well, I don't know where to start in here. She looks over at you, Rays and Les. She goes, I'm not from, I'm from this area here, but not this particular block. Where do you think we should go? Should we try to go up one of the buildings and see what's inside? Or
How long has the quarantine been up?
about 2.5 weeks.
Okay. So it's possible and even probable that at some point in the last 3 years that Rolex has wandered through here and probably wouldn't be completely lost.
I would say absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
So
I don't
she
even
looks
know
at-
what we're looking for without description, so he wouldn't take a lead, but I just wanted to think that
She
through.
looks around. She goes, we'd probably be looking for a place that they would have access to one of the sewer systems. So I'm assuming maybe a little bit farther down the street here, towards where one of the buildings water wells are. That might be one of the places to start. What do you think?
Seems like a good place to start to me.
it's a sound idea.
Okay.
I checked my other
Does-
messaging thing to see if it was blinking, by the way.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Okay.
Would Rays know of any fifth form, like safe houses, drop locations, or anything of the sort? Supply caches
Sure.
in this quarantine zone.
Sure. Make a history check for me real quick here.
Yay! I have expertise in history.
That's when
History
we had
and
a plus
perception.
8. Yes, it is when we had a
18.
plus 8. Nice.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's 18. He's 3.
Okay, 18. Yeah, 18. With an 18, you know that there is the Iron Fin Tavern. It is a place that is in this particular quarantine zone that you guys lost contact with several weeks ago. But nothing was able to ever be done because, again, any expedition that was trying to get through the barrier just did not work. So there is that particular place. It's about 2.5 blocks. No, it's about 2.5 buildings down and then to the left of where you're at.
Okay. Rays is going to speak up.
Yeah.
Once everybody comes to a concession, we should start at a well or any sort of water fixture before we try to enter the sewers. There should be an abandoned safe house for us nearby. We can use it as a rallying point.
Okay.
And I'll lead them
Should
all
we
all to
secure
it.
said safe house? Yes.
Of course. Once the quarantine drops, we need that place spick and span.
Just point me the right way. I'll stay in front, but keep your eyes peeled. This is too quiet for my comfort.
Okay. So, Ray, since you know the way to go, are you leading the charge?
No, since Les offered to be in front, I'll go ahead and keep him in front. What Ray's is going to do is he's going to argue, or at least suggest, that we move in a way that keeps Shyla in between all of us. So one on every side of her.
Shyla nods in agreement furiously. She's like, yes, that sounds like a good idea.
I believe it's best for Les to be in front, Rolex behind, Ophidian and myself on either side.
Here, take my shield. Just as extra protection for now.
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sure. She grabs onto it. How heavy is your shield?
I think it said it was under 10 pounds.
Okay, then yeah, that's fine. She holds it. She's like, yeah, oh, it's good. She's used to working with metal, so I just wanted to make sure again if it was an
6
80
Yeah.
pound monster, she's
Like a 10-foot tall
something
tower shield, right?
Yeah,
A
tower
solid adamantine.
6
All I
pounds.
found
Good.
the thing was shield. It never said like anything else.
Okay,
It's
okay,
6
good.
pounds.
It's
6
lead
pounds.
lined and gold filled.
Good. Okay. So with that, the group starts to make their way through. I need a group stealth check then, please.
I can do stealth.
I want to give Les bardic inspiration.
Okay, Les has bar. Ooh,
Randy, can I borrow one of your dice?
Yes, Joe, you can borrow one of mine.
All right,
Ophidian-
I'm rolling
Ophidian
Randy's
with-
dice here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I
Oh
have a
no,
Oh my.
dude! I even have a +5 for stealth, but rolling a 1 doesn't help.
Randy!
I'm playing spoons on Rolex.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
Good gosh,
Okay.
I
Randy!
give my bardic inspiration to Rolex.
I think I tripped over Randy because I couldn't see him, and I made a commotion.
Rolex,
Two 20s in a row.
Rolex, you do have a bardic inspiration if you wanted to use that too.
But if I
Supplement
rolled a
your-
1, all I could do is add 6 to a failure. So
well, I mean, crit fails aren't automatic in ability checks, only in combat. So
My tail catches him on his way tripping.
there you go.
okay. All right, so
I'll hold on to that. I might
Okay.
want to add it to a roll that's more pertinent
Okay.
for what I'm
So-
doing.
So again, typically you guys are used to being stealthy unless you're able to really, lead the way here. But Les, as you're leading the way, you just hear this clink, clink, clink. You hear Rolex making more noise than he usually makes because usually he's muffled by the ambient sounds of the city. Here, he's not. And then obviously, again, if you wanted to, I don't know. I know that Rolex Les said that he trips you with his tail. Is that something you guys want to have?
What I'd
or
like
no?
what I'd like to do is when you turn to see me making all the noise, you will find that Rolex has his fingers near his eyes, and when he notices you see him, he says, "I am trying to figure out how to peel my eyes. You said to keep my eyes peeled."
It means to look out. Can you step quieter?
Oh, I can try.
As this happens, you guys are like in between one of the two buildings, and as you're in between one of the two buildings, you hear in the distance. Did you hear that over there? I'm not sure what that was. Let's go check it out. And you hear people moving. You hear footsteps moving towards you. What do you guys want to do?
Move into one of the buildings, guys.
How close
Okay.
are we to the?
You're pretty
Iron
close to
Fin?
you're pretty close to the Iron Fin. If you guys wanted to try to book it over there, you could.
I think we should. Well.
Yeah.
I'm following Ray's lead.
And Les
Raise?
is up front, so I'm going to follow
whatever
wherever
direction
Les
he
goes.
Oh yeah.
Raise, run.
What is there a doorway near us?
There is. You guys are next to a building, yes, but your building is the one right up next to it. It's about 100 feet away.
You can do it.
Do the voices sound like they're coming from that direction?
Probably.
They
should
sound
give
like they're
the
coming
hideout
from
away.
the opposite side of the street.
Okay. Ray's gonna point out that building. Hurry! I'll make a distraction.
Run.
All right. What are you
Right.
doing for a distraction then, Rays?
Towards the direction that the unidentified voices came from. As far out as I can, which is 30 feet. I am going to create a minor illusion. That minor illusion being the sound of cats fighting.
Okay. All right. Make me a deception check with advantage then, please, or a performance check. Either one is your choice, and the rest of you start booking your way towards that particular.
Let me cast this spell.
Running sucks. Yes.
Shoot. I'll just
Shikati's
place-
having the worst time ever.
I'll just
Mhm.
place the
Opinion, it's
template
opinion now.
there.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
You said performance or
Or deception. You make either one.
Pick your best thing,
okay.
man.
they're the same.
Advantage
Oh.
though.
Yep. So I am going to go with deception.
Go for it.
I just
But,
realized
there it is.
performance and deception together is perception.
Hey, there you go.
What?
It's crazy
Okay,
talk.
yeah. With that,
Nice.
Raise, you
Or
form.
deformance.
Yeah, you push forth an image off to the side towards here, and you can hear like this image come to life, and you can hear all these things happening here. Les, you get kind of like shivers down your spine of how accurate the sounds are to cats actually fighting. But with that, you guys make your way successfully into the building. As you make your way over, the door is boarded up here, and Les. It's not like boarded on like just the point where you can actually easily just pull it off here. It's not like welded on or anything like that here. And you get inside the building. Inside, once you guys get inside and raise, once you're confident that they are distracted, you make your way, you fall back, and you get your way inside the building as well. You shut the door behind you quietly, and it is dead silent inside the building. And looking through it, you can see it's like a ghost town. It's like it's been abandoned. There are chairs and luggage, and you can see clothing that are just like abandoned on the floor. You can see what appears to be some like footprints and scuff marks. It appears like there was people fleeing the building itself. And as you make your way down, Raise, it's on the first floor. It's at the very back of the building. You open up the door to the Iron Fin, and as you open it up, you are again taken aback. The entire tavern. And again, it looks very familiar to the kind of tavern that you guys saw in the Stew and Pearl, but it is wrecked. It is absolutely wrecked. The chairs are knocked over. The sofas that were on the back there are ripped to shreds. And Raise, there is an individual that is sitting there with a large short sword buried into his chest. This is one of the people that you know. Again, it's one of the fifth form. Somebody you maybe didn't have a lot of interaction with, but you knew of him. He was one of the tavern guards, one tavern agents, so to speak, here. And he is laying there on the ground, blood coming out. And Raise, as you go back to check the secret areas where the storehouses were, and you bang on the doors to open them up here, as they open up, you see the end of the episode.
Every time.
Why is
Every
it behind
time.
a
Keep
door
happening.
for you? Right.
Sorry for your loss, yes.
We have to stop letting Rays open doors.
Right?
Yes.
Real quick, though, the sword that is embedded in the man, does it have any distinguishing features, or is it just like Walmart brand short sword?
No, it is a Winter's Guard short sword.
Perfect.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm going to take it.
Okay.
Perfect that dude's dead, man.
He's
It
not gonna
says
need it.
Crimson Minotaur brand.
Yes, it does.
He was not too busy to die.
Wintermere Minotaur.
All right. Well, thank you guys for playing another fun game. We will pick this up next week, and we will continue and find out what the heck's happening inside the quarantine zone.
Awesome.
Yeah, in the meantime, we
Yes.
wrap it up and we can say bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
Randy, no meow joke.
But I thought my joke would be hysterical.
There we go.
God
All
dang it.
right.